do that. All right, I think we're good to go. It is Friday, which means that it is our Mortgage Friday segment with Shane Force. Hey, Shane, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, Matt?
Good, good. You were saying before we got on the call how busy things are going, and really just
Yeah,
how busy you were over the 4th of July weekend, and that's continuing. So I just wanted to check in with you and get some updates.
yeah, just unbelievable activity that we're seeing as far as the home buying market. I was just talking to a top producer from Keller Williams in the Basking Ridge office, and
Mhm.
just who would have thought in March, when all this started, that we would be so busy with the home buying market now, and that the value of the home, like she's like, we were talking about a customer that I had pre-approved, and they have not agreed on a price, and she's like, this person was selling their home in March and gave someone a very good price because they thought, hey, the market's going to tumble, right?
Yep.
And that
Yep.
the market is going to take a hit because of COVID, and that just hasn't been the case because there's a lack of inventory and there's an abundance of buyers that want to move. And therefore sellers it's turned out to be a seller's market. Unbelievably, it's turned
Yeah.
out to be a seller's market. You never would have thought this, you and I have talked about there could be a deluge of business, but we never thought that sellers would still be hesitant to list, and that sellers would still not want people walking through their homes. um,
Absolutely. And I think I saw a stat recently that showed that the activity level right now of sellers is about what it was or what it would normally be in around the holidays. So like end of
yeah,
December, early January, that the
okay,
inventory levels are about what that would be. But the buyers right now, there's,
yeah,
just a huge swath of buyers that are looking for a home, and
yeah.
they're just not there.
I think it can come down to motivation. I was at
Yep.
uh, a broker open house in Essex County yesterday, and it was one of the first that there have been, since the governor said you're
Yeah.
okay to do, I guess, broker open houses now. Public open houses, I guess, have been packed for weeks, they're telling me.
Yeah.
Um, but broker open houses are kind of like a newer type thing. It used
Yeah.
to be commonplace
Yep.
that, okay, every week this is what we do, and the realtors go view the inventory. But
Yep.
I think there were three realtors that stopped by there, and in Essex County on a new listing, I'm telling you, 12 months ago it would have been 20
Yeah.
or
Yep.
25.
Yep.
And one of the realtors that came in just said, you're one of the pioneers, you're one of the trailblazers that's doing
Yeah.
this, because a lot of people are not. They're just
Yeah.
not, they're not comfortable doing that yet. And I guess that's what sellers are going through. They're just not comfortable yet.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's what you're seeing kind of across the country. I mean, there's some people who are more than fine with certain aspects of getting back into things, and some people are much more cautious or much more resistant. So it's and I think it's the same with sellers. Whether they want
Yeah.
people in their house or not.
Yeah, and that's a challenging thing as well. I've been working with a customer who's trying to buy, and they just got a new job, um, and it's about what would that be, 30% less than
Yeah.
what he was making. So I know that the unemployment rate has dropped, and now we're down to like 11.1% unemployed. But I'm going to tell you, I bet you probably a good 5 to 8% of those people that were unemployed and now are employed. It's not at what they were
Yeah.
making in February.
Absolutely. And
We're
I mean,
seeing that all over the place.
yeah, I mean, some people, it's just, if you're in a job where you're more bonus driven, you're just not going to get some of the income that you might normally be expecting.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah,
Um,
I was even was working with a customer who works in a hospital, and they have frozen her income to the point where last year she probably is going to make a good 20% less,
yeah,
because they've just said, okay, she's going to work but no overtime, and
yeah,
overtime has made a good 20 to 25% of her income over the past few years. So
absolutely.
and I was working with her, and the realtor said, well, can't you go off of her previous years? I said, in a normal environment, yes, but
Yeah.
I'm doing, you go to her employer and her employer is saying, no, we're
Yeah.
capping it.
Yeah.
So you can't override that, it's a tough situation for a lot of people. And you would think at least in healthcare and at least
Yeah.
somebody that works in a hospital,
Yeah.
forget it. I mean, they need her
Yeah.
more than ever, but it's
Ever.
not the case,
Absolutely. Well, Shane, I know we want to keep these calls, nice, short and sweet. You've already provided a lot of good information. Is there anything else that you want to make sure that that our listeners hear or that we cover?
And just keep in mind that rates are still at record lows for people that are selling their homes and buying again. And interest rates have never been this low. I still continue to tell people, they're like, well, what do you think I should do? Should I lock in now? And I'm like, hey, rates could go lower.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, I've never locked someone in at a lower rate in a 30-year fix in all of my 23 years. So we're
Yeah.
still at ridiculously low rates. But keep in mind, some of these employers are trying to bring these people back that were on a W-2 to a
Yeah.
1099, right? So as all realtors know, when you try to
Yeah.
get a mortgage and you're a 1099, you need 24 months, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of these employers are saying, okay, you were on a salary of 120, we're going to bring you back at 100,000 a year, and you're not going to be W-2 anymore. We're going to bring you back on a 1099, which certainly saves the employer some money, right?
Yeah.
But it's not the same for someone getting a mortgage. So it's certainly money. And I was talking to a buyer and he's like, well, I can't not take this job. I've been unemployed for the past 3 months. I've got to take this new job. And I said, hey, absolutely. But it's just not going to help you get a mortgage.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, thank you, Shane, as always, for being on these calls.
All
I know
right.
you're super swamped and super busy, and I appreciate your time and just, really just knowledge for our agents. I appreciate the time you took today.
All right. Thank you. Thanks,
Thanks,
Matt.
and have a great weekend.
You too. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.